Good morning, everyone, and this is DAYSTAR Media Week 2, Day 2, and we're here at the ICT Theatre where we'll be having the PRSK Masterclass today as well as the MCK Masterclass. Welcome to Day 2.
And she has successfully launched 10 KCB branded products in 3 different categories. She helps improve brand visibility, attain significant market penetration, and stakeholder engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that we put our hands together for Miss Mwihaki Bashira as she comes to speak to us.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. That's where my class today will be drawn from, right? My experiences across those different organizations.
Who will have seen it, you know? Social media, it's the one you go to for fast acknowledgement, and to burst any myths, yeah? So you must go to social media first and you say, yes, this has happened, here are the facts. Yes, this is direct support, but this is for affected people.
Good afternoon, everyone, and this is DAYSTAR Media Week 2, Day 2, and we are at the ICT Theatre at 12 p.m. as the PRSK Masterclass on Crisis Management for Brands begins. Welcome to everyone as we get a look in on the public relations world and how to deal with different crises. Welcome to all.
Emerging technologies, but guided by human values. So our faith, our values, our morals, those should guide who we are. And it's also not only guided, but it's also nurtured, cultivated, and sustained by our community. Yeah. So if you're reporting for that community radio station, Shine FM, writing for involvement. I wrote for involvement. I worked in Shine FM 2004, 2006 until I graduated. And if you're working for that media houses, just know that that person in your community is the one who drives the story. And I think John said it correctly. We are here to tell stories. We are storytellers. We are an oral culture, but very importantly, we've been given AI to ensure that we keep our stories recorded so that we are decolonizing, as Irene said, and giving it a feminist theories so that our stories carry us forward. Mudure was right. We will exit this planet, but those stories will remain. So let's use the tools that have been given unto us to leverage on telling authentic African stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gitao. Mr. please.
All right, so clarion call. Technology is only as important if it is able to impact livelihoods and improve and make life better. Secondly, keeping up with the faith on God's green earth. Please learn a skill, right? The 2 gentlemen who are here, the guy who's the photographer and the guy who's filming, the guy with a black hat, he's probably adjusting the aperture, the ISO, and the shutter speed, right? You're adjusting, that is your skill, right? And the guy also who's doing the photography, he has a lens and he's zooming in and out, right? So learn a skill that you can actually say, like what Oerimo has said, that in 2-3 years, I've actually been able to improve my skill. Once you have those basics, then the tools, whether they are AI tools, whether they are whatever tools you want to call it, they will always be there. But have the fundamentals right. Because if you don't have those skills and those fundamentals right, you'll just be what I think, is it Einstein he would say that we'll become a generation of idiots. Because really and truly, we're just walking. I'm using wildebeest who are, they just follow one aimlessly, to where the crocodiles are. Let us make sure that we can be able to have some tangible skills, and please learn, and learn, right? Something new comes up. There's Claude. How many guys are vibe coding now, for example? How many guys who know what vibe coding is, for example? right? So that's your homework, right? You have brilliant ideas. You don't have to really wait until you have millions to hire developers. You can actually use tools like Lovable and so on, right? And even Claude to actually be able to build something. So learn, build, and impact. Because at the end of the day, that is also your God-given responsibility. You have to make other people rise also. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ombogu. Dr. Adoli.
So recently I was sitting in a cafe somewhere. 2 young people came in. When I see your age, I just say, these are students. I strike a conversation. Yes, they were students from Swarthmore University. One was just graduated, already working. The other one was IT guru. Yeah, very enthusiastic about statistics and stuff. So we got conversing, and interestingly, it all centered on AI. And I wanted to know about how they perceive their lecturers. Do they know if a lecturer is using AI, for example, to prepare notes? And at the end, they asked me, what is the essence of education in the next 10 years? Do we really need to go to university? Because if AI is going to help us do everything, do we still need university? And it's the same question I ask you. Do you still need to come to a classroom to learn media practice communication with AI? And we are all content creators, and we are creating content tonight, as we have said. And you already know what is needed to write content. And so is AI going to replace your jobs? I think as we end this conversation, we will twist that and say, we are not going to ask about if AI is going to replace our jobs or our skills, but how skilled are you in the application of AI that you cannot be replaced? In the sense that as a journalist, as a media practitioner, it has to do with accountability. It has to do with truth-telling. It has to do with credibility. It has to do with all these values that are expected to you, but also a super AI journalist. And then you will need a human signature at the end of your story. It is the humanity, the voice that comes out of the story. Then you are not artificial, but you are human, applying or using artificial intelligence to make your work easy and faster. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adoli. Mr. Dera, close this session for us. All right, I think, you know what, it's a beautiful time. It's a wonderful time to be young and just, entry career level. I started out my career in research, and I used to be an assistant for PhD students, but they don't write their own thesis. I'll tell you that. Okay, so some of them, but I'll tell you that right now, it was hell. Just like Dr. You said, the amount of research you had to do, the amount of reading, it was horrible. Oh, I actually left research because of imposter syndrome. I could not keep up. It was a lot. But you guys, first you have the gift of forecast. I think you can tell, you can clearly see 5 years, 10 years down the line, how the ecosystem is going to look like. That is the beauty of existing now, where you have information at your fingertips. You know what these AI companies are doing. There are people talking about it left, right, and center. There are people helping you forecast, and you can craft your own career trajectory. You can harness all the skills. You can choose where you want to end up in this AI train. And I think that is honestly a gift. And it's beautiful. It's a wonderful time to be alive. So take advantage of it. Now that you mentioned it, I remember I actually tried crafting my career path with AI. I was like, so this and this and this are the skills I have. This and this and this is where we are at. And this and this and this is what I want to do by the end of, say, 5 years. How does that look like? It was quite interesting. A lot of skills to be learned. So it's a process of completely learning and learning and learning every day. So I'll ask around the room, do we have any questions? Yes, Donika. Anyone else with a question? Make your way down.
Hi again. I'm going to mix Dr. Adoli's statement about how skilled are you in AI. And Mr. Ambo, when you're saying that not AI is going to replace us, but people who know AI are going to replace us. But now I'm like, is it like all journalists? Because if you can all remember Chichopevi, it was like under investigative journalism. So in my head, I'm like, does a person who's being investigative have to know AI? Because it's like, I'm going to the field, I'm going to find out all that. Do I need to know AI? And how can newsroom ensure that they don't prioritize speed and scale, because AI is about speed and getting the information quick, and instead prioritize in-depth investigative journalism?
Good evening. My name is Scott Presley. I'm part of the Shine FM team, and my question actually just got me thinking, because a couple of months ago we went to the US Embassy, and the main discussion was media and AI. And I asked a question about why is it that all of these billboards I see around Thika Road wanatumia AI, and it just gets me to think, don't you guys think these editors are getting paid for free? Because if you think about it, if I were to make that banner over there using AI, maybe a picture of a certain lady we don't even know of, then I get paid for it. Don't you guys think I'd actually be paid for free? Because the editors are getting paid for free. So don't you guys think those editors, the editors who edited those AI billboards put up along Thika Road, don't you guys think they were paid for free? Because if you think about it, because our main discussion is about adaptability and how we journalists can use AI to our advantage, and not about journalism versus AI. But now it gets me to think, what is the adaptability for, when I can just sit and prompt a whole picture of AI, put it up on a big billboard and get paid for free?
In terms of being paid for free, it's not a new thing, and it's not specific to editors. There are big companies where CEOs are paid for free. And that's the beauty of, maybe the beauty or the sharp end of the knife about hierarchies and coming up in your organizational hierarchy. Some jobs are going to be at risk because of AI, and others are not going to be at such a risk, right? Depending on your level of skill, your level of adaptability, right? The question you need to ask yourself is, where do I want to land? And that's where we're talking about skilling, learning. Where do you want to land? I'm not saying it's an ethical thing. I'm not saying it's right to be paid for free. No, it's not in any scenario, right? But reality is that when companies are looking at their profit and loss and their budget lines, where they decide to cut an editor might be more meaningful to keep, or they might not cost them as much as maybe laying off an entire creative department. It's a numbers game. So where do I want to, when it comes to that point where my organization is saying they're laying off people, where do I want to be in the hierarchy?
So how is our current AI shaping this space?
Yeah, for us to be able to train and to talk to also our population, right? And I think media, because this is media week, media has great responsibility on this particular bit. Thank you.
I think the idea we have been taught since primary, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You graduate knowing those things, but you're not reasoning, or we are not critically thinking about issues, whether they are local issues or national issues or global issues. Then let's look at applied knowledge. And I know within DAYSTAR, problem-based learning and solutions journalism has taken the forefront. So let's embrace, ask us, ask your lecturers, ask those questions. How and why should I learn this? How am I going to apply it? Yeah? Because by asking, we are also learning, and you are also able to offer education and even information that allows students to not only be memorizers, but people who are able to solve solutions.
Stronger than they were was something really important. We really, really appreciate you for coming. Thank you very, very, very much.
That's a wrap on the day 2 for the DAYSTAR Media Week. The PRSK Kenya Masterclass was a success. We've learned so much, and the Media Week has not yet ended. We have the finale tomorrow, we have the gala tomorrow, So come on as we wrap up with the Media Week. And for now, it is goodbye and